Okay, we're good.
Good evening. It is Thursday, June 26th. The Borough Council Agenda Meeting is now in session. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Mrs. Baumiller.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pursuant to the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, adequate and electronic notice of this meeting has been provided by posting on the bulletin board in the Beach Haven Municipal Building, on the Borough website, and mailing the same to the Beach Haven Times, the Asbury Park Press, and the Press of Atlantic City. Ms. Anderson?
Here.
Mrs. Baumiller?
Here.
Mr. McCaffrey?
Here.
Ms. Snyder? Mayor Lambert?
Here.
I have a May 29th, 2025 agenda meeting, a June 9th, 2025 regular meeting, and June 9th, 2025 executive session minutes for approval without formal reading.
Everybody have a chance to look them over?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Ordinance 2025-16C, an ordinance amending Chapter 204, Water of the Borough Code of the Borough of Beach Haven, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, to correct inconsistencies within the chapter. Final reading.
Final reading, so we're going to open it to the public. Please confine yourself to 3 minutes and be sure to ID yourself. Anybody in the room? Seeing none. Anybody on Zoom? No? Anybody in the council have anything at all to say about this?
Nope.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve 2025-16C?
I make a motion to approve 2025-16C.
I'll second.
Thank you. Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Baumiller?
Yes.
Mr. McCaffrey?
Yes.
Mayor Lambert?
Yes.
Ordinance 2025-17C, an ordinance amending Chapter 163, Sewage and Sewer Utility of the Borough Code of the Borough of Beach Haven, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, to correct inconsistencies within the chapter. Final reading.
Again, final reading, so it's open to public comment. Anybody in the audience? Anybody on Zoom?
No.
Okay, seeing none. Council, anything at all? No? Okay, is there a motion to approve 2025-17C?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Baumiller?
Yes.
Mr. McCaffrey?
Yes.
Mayor Lambert?
Yes.
Thank you. All matters listed under item consent agenda are considered routine by the municipal council and will be enacted by one motion in the form listed. Any items requiring expenditure are supported by a certification of availability of funds, and any item requiring discussion will be removed from the consent agenda and discussed separately. All consent agenda items will be reflected in full in the minutes. Resolution 164 is establishing fees for sewer parts and adopting version 25-01. 165 is authorizing the sale of surplus property no longer needed for public use in an online auction. This is for general items, miscellaneous computer equipment, an old Kubota, things like that. 167, authorizing the Borough of Beach Haven Police Department to participate in the Defense Logistics Agency Law Enforcement Support Office 1033 program to enable the police department to request and acquire excess Department of Defense equipment. 168, approving membership to the Beach Haven Volunteer Fire Company. 169, reappointing Sherry Mason as local registrar of vital statistics. 170, reappointing Sherry Mason as borough clerk. 171, determining the form and other details of its note relating to the construction financing program, the New Jersey Environmental Infrastructure Trust, to be issued in a principal amount up to $4 million, and providing for the issuance and sale of such a note to the New Jersey Environmental Infrastructure Trust, and authorizing the execution and delivery of such note by the Borough of Beach Haven in favor of the New Jersey Environmental Infrastructure Trust construction financing program. 172, approval to submit a grant application and execute a grant contract with the New Jersey Department of Transportation for the state fiscal year 2026 road reconstruction project, Pearl Street, from Atlantic Avenue to the easterly end, and Stratford Avenue from West Avenue to the easterly end, in the amount of $468,181.20. 174 is approving the purchase of a sponsorship for the 4th of July fireworks. 175, approving an affordability assistance in the form of a homeowner assistance agreement with an owner of an affordable housing unit located at 510 North Bay Avenue, Unit 205. 176, authorizing a shared service agreement with the Township of Long Beach for Bright Harbor Healthcare Social Work and Behavioral Health Referral Services. 177, supporting Revolution New Jersey and its mission to advance the role the history plays in New Jersey. 178, acknowledging the hiring of Jen Sella as part-time recreation coordinator. And finally, 179, approving a resident request for additional handicap parking.
Okay, a lot on the resolution list tonight. Anybody have anything they'd like to discuss? No?
What was the one that came up, 171?
Yes, so
Approving it, or-
171, I don't have a written version of the resolution, but the resolution is simply authorizing us in form to make application to the New Jersey Water Infrastructure, Environmental Infrastructure Trust to fund our upcoming water and sewer infrastructure projects. This particular amount will be requesting for $4 million.
Thank you. Anything else? No? Is there a motion to approve the resolutions within the consent agenda?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Ms. Anderson,
Yes.
Mrs. Ball Miller,
Yes.
Mr. McCaffrey,
Yes.
Mayor Lambert.
Yes.
I have resolution 173, 2025. This is a resolution of the council of the Borough of Beach Haven endorsing the housing element and fair share plan that was adopted by the Beach Haven Land Use Board on the 23rd.
Everybody familiar with this? Personally for me, this one is difficult because we have been forced to take on this fair share housing. And if we don't, there would be considerable price to pay. But right now we're experiencing things with one of our buildings that has fair share housing. And it's ridiculous because the homeowner fees are through the roof and the state doesn't regulate that, even though they'll regulate the cost of the unit. They mandate things. We get no financial help, but we're expected to pick up the slack. There have been numerous construction issues from day one, and the people living there are trying to get it rectified, and they're having a difficult time with that. And the borough is always caught in the middle with this. And I just think the state needs to do a much better job of listening to the municipalities. We don't even get to choose who would get those units. And right now we have a tremendous need for young families in this town. And it's just a shame, and there's nothing we can do about it, but I just wanted to put my 2 cents in that I am not a big fan of this, but if we don't endorse it, there is a steep price to pay. So, anybody else?
Yeah, I agree with you, Mayor, especially since, like you said, every municipality is different. Every municipality has different needs for affordable housing, yet we have no say in this state program.
Mhm.
It's a poorly run state program. It confines municipalities in what they need moving forward for their own community. And although we are passing this resolution to protect our municipality, and we have to because it's in the state constitution, the state needs to do a better job at this. And not everyone says, we need affordable housing, we need affordable housing. We need something that's done correctly, and you have to
Yes.
listen to the players in the game. So I agree with you 100%.
Right back at you. Anybody else? No?
Colleen, would you mind opening the floor for this?
Oh, certainly. I forgot about that part. Would anybody like to speak to Resolution 173, 2025? No? On Zoom?
No.
No. Okay. Now I guess we can make a motion to approve 173, 2025.
I'll make a motion to approve 173, 2025.
Second,
Thank you. Ms. Anderson,
Yes.
Mrs. Ball Miller,
yes.
Mr. McCaffrey,
Yes.
Mayor Lambert.
Yes.
I have a bill list this evening in the amount of $337,141.40.
Well, I like the fact that it said zero on the thing.
Yeah, not for long.
Everybody have a chance to review the bills?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Is there a motion to approve bills?
So moved.
I'll second.
Ms. Anderson,
Yes.
Mrs. Ball Miller,
Yes.
Mr. McCaffrey,
Yes.
Mayor Lambert.
Yes.
For general discussion items, we are still looking at a proposed draft ordinance regulating our outdoor dining. Have you all had a chance to review the latest version, and did you have any other questions?
No, I think I discussed with you my concerns.
Yeah, the only thing, did we clear up the tent permit,
The discrepancy?
the discrepancy?
What she's referring to is that being able to utilize a tent with the outdoor dining is now like a permitted use. Like it really can't be denied, but our current ordinance for tents and temporary structures says that the tent, once permitted, has to be taken down within a certain number of hours, 48 hours or something. And obviously that wouldn't be applicable here. So I think we still have to add some language there that says it's exempt from, we're gonna have to break it down to do a really tight subsection to say that if it's for an outdoor dining permit, that it would be exempt from that.
Right.
It's not in here, I'll add it.
Yeah, that's the only thing. Yeah, I talked to Bruce, I talked to Sherry. I think the biggest concern was the parking lot issue, and, you know, we can, our parking ordinance can supersede that.
Mhm.
So other than that,
Now, that was my biggest concern too, was the
Mhm.
parking.
I think we've done a good job at
Okay.
writing it for that.
Great. Anybody else in the council have anything to add? No? Okay,
So we'll bring that for introduction in July.
okay.
Proposed ordinance making 8th Street a one-way. I have Chief Markowski.
Hello.
Good evening.
So the one-way came up on 8th Street. It's just a 300 block. It would be the same thing as we have on 9th Street. So when you turn off the boulevard, you would turn off the boulevard and go west towards Delaware Avenue. The reason why I like this idea is that, well, number of things. So 8th and Bay is a very busy area. You have 2 lanes on the boulevard coming south that turns into 1 lane right there. And you have 1 lane going north that turns into 2 lanes right there. And as cars try to pull out onto the boulevard there, it's always gridlocked. We always get cars that are partway out trying to wait for the other cars coming north to stop. And then you have the 2 lanes going down. People are, packing into 1 lane coming south. It's always chaotic there. Along with that, you have the pedestrians who are leaving Fantasy Island, and you have new businesses in the past few years, which weren't there, I believe more than five or 6 years ago. You have Pliables and Coors Brothers on the northwest corner of 8th and Bay. And now you have the pizza, Park Pizza, I believe it's called, is on the southwest side of that intersection. Given all that, it's a lot busier right there in that corner. And the owner of Fantasy Island approached me about it. When he first said it, I was like, no, that's not really something. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought it would be a lot safer. Changing it from a 2-way street would also help with, right now, as cars are going both directions on that 300 block of 8th Street, you'll have cars stopping, waiting for a parallel spot to open up, and then, they have to do all that, and you have somebody who's coming off the boulevard who's getting impatient, who goes around them into the oncoming traffic as another car is coming, or as a car is pulling out of a parallel spot in the opposite direction. That always creates a problem. So if we did 1 way going west, had both sides of the road parking parallel, same, you wouldn't lose any parking spots, you wouldn't lose anything. And it would create a pretty easy flow. When you get down to the end of the street there, you can make a right to go towards Taylor Avenue, which has a traffic light, or you can make a left and go over to 6th Street, which that has a traffic light also. So I don't see any downfall in it. I've talked to a few people about it. Just that was the idea.
I like it. I was just, had to drop Quinn off today at Penzones. It was too windy. Hair was gonna get messed up. We looked at 6th Street. So we crossed over, and then when I was pulling left, like, I could totally see that as I was going south, people are trying to make a left-hand turn right there. And what you want to do is you want to try to make people, do the left-hand turns at the light. So it would make it would flow better. But I also think what would also flow better is if we sync the lights. The lights.
I love that idea, but
But it was like a nightmare because, so I had to pull in because I wanted to mail something, and and I never drive in Beach Haven. I'm always on my bike, but had to take her to work. And when I, reversed, the 6th Street light is not synced with the lights like by Murphy. So it's like a chicken act to try to get out in time. Like all these lights need to be synced. So everyone
yeah,
stops.
The reason why they're not synced now is they're synced when the county sets them. And I believe they sync like every 24 hours or something like
I
that.
don't know. They've never
but-
been synced since the day Tuesday, since I drove to work.
The worst is right
They were
here.
never, when I drove home, because I'm like, these lights better be synced. Because they used,
Yeah.
back in the day, you could see it. Every single light was synced.
That should happen next year when they put the new traffic lights in, because then they'll all be, I believe they're all going to be controlled by one controller.
But that would ease the traffic right
Yeah.
there also, because the
That
lights,
happens everywhere. It happens at Engleside and Center Street. When one of those is out of sync, you'll have all the cars are going. If Center
Yeah.
Street's red and
they
Engleside's
need
green,
to all be
it-
read at the same time,
comes
so
all the way
everyone
through the
can
intersection.
cross. And then when they're not synced, it's a nightmare.
but it's an idea. I just thought,
I like your
if
idea.
I asked you guys to think about it and consider it, I didn't think it was a very difficult thing. A few signs, some paint on the ground. And if it doesn't work out, I guess we could always
But do
undo it later.
we have to do an ordinance?
Yes, we have to do an ordinance. So the chief has already provided his written narrative to Frank. And then Frank has to do some engineering certification, and then it has to go to the county. So we're
Can we
already,
put PS sync the lights?
yeah, we could probably add that.
Don't the emergency vehicles have the ability to change?
Ours don't. I believe First Aid has something
That's what I
that they're
thought.
able to do, and I'm not sure if it's every light,
Or
but
the ones that are have
thought
already
that
been
that
upgraded?
also throws out.
That's what I was gonna say. That's what throws them out all the
Really
time.
true, though.
It is.
Yeah, it is. I've seen them. I've been there when they.
I thought our lights would be so old that they wouldn't have that technology.
Well, I don't know that the old
Like
ones
the
do, but
stringed up
certainly the
ones wouldn't
new ones.
have
I
that
don't know. I thought it
laser.
was.
I've seen them go through. I've been there and all of a sudden the light turns. I'm like, whoa.
So we
Wow.
don't know exactly if I have to have the county approval before we introduce or before it's effective, but we'll figure all that out. If we look to introduce on July 14th, it would be effective on August 31st.
And PSS, we like our lights.
Yes, I'll write that. I think
As
it's a
an
good
8th Street resident, a little inconvenient and, but I understand completely.
Well,
your-
and that's the other thing with, like you said, for residents, it shouldn't interfere with any residents because there's no homes on that block. There's no business frontages on that block. The one side is the water park and the other side is Fantasy Island. Fantasy Island is all for it. It shouldn't interfere with the water park in any way other than, we'll have to put a sign there where they come out of their parking garage
Yeah.
to make a right-hand turn rather than left. But
Yeah.
even, I don't believe many of the condo owners at the end of that street, which would be two-way down there. This is only the 300 block. I would assume that most of them, when it's busy, come out and
Mhm.
go one way or another
May
to a
avoid
light.
it. May avoid it.
No, I mean, you're right. It is a traffic nightmare. I'm just saying that now I used to come right down 8th Street to go home, but now I won't be able to do that. But that's a minor thing considering the safety aspect.
I like the idea of it, but if this was like 2 or 3 years ago, I would say no. But once we cleaned up Delaware Avenue, got the parking off of there, now you can make, it is a wider area and
Yeah, and that worked out great.
yeah,
I
and
think
this will really help.
We've had a lot of positive feedback from people who said how much they like Delaware Avenue being safer for riding your bikes back and forth to the business area.
Because a couple of years ago, you would never send two lanes of traffic
No.
down there. But I think it's a great
think-
idea and it's great for safety issue.
I think that's why I also, when he first mentioned it to me, I was like, no. And the more I sat there talking with him, I was like, you know what? It really seemed like it would flow. So,
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, I'm on board.
Did you want to go to number 3 too?
Sure.
Security for private businesses?
At first, I thought this was going to be a good idea to help some of the problems that we're having. But the more we talk about it, I kind of want to put this on hold for a while and see if we can do it a different way. I've talked to a few of the businesses that were that are the reason why this came up. For instance, 7-Eleven, Schooners Wharf, Bay Village. Bay Village actually now has a security person out there. But the original thought on this wasn't to have like a security guard or like an off-duty police officer or anything like that. It was to have, even if like at 7-Eleven, even if they had somebody whose sole job wasn't being a clerk, they could have somebody over by the candy aisle, because that's where they seem to have their problems, is when the kids come in, kids are, pulling stuff off the shelves and walking out, and you have one person there at the register who's trying to watch what's going on over there. It could just be a clerk who kind of, almost like Walmart and those stores have, what do they call it? Loss prevention officer. They don't, they're not police officers or anything like that. It's just somebody who can call, get a description of the person who just stole something, maybe
Traffic
see what they,
controller.
yeah,
Just
that's
like keeping it moving, keep it moving, keep it moving. Let's keep. it
maybe
moving.
only let a certain amount of kids into the store at one time. I don't want to put anything extra on the businesses that we don't have to. I would like to see them do it themselves. So I'm going to write up a letter and try to explain what I'm looking for out of it. So with the ordinance, it was hard to put into words that we want this for when you're busy, because we don't want, it doesn't necessarily have to be all the time. Certainly doesn't have to be all year round.
Mhm.
But even the few weeks between Memorial Day and 4th of July, there's a few weeks of lull there where you wouldn't need it. So it's hard to put that into words. How to explain, how to force a business to do something like this. And I don't want to do that to them, but
So you're going to tweak this?
I'm going to try to talk them into doing something on their own first.
Okay.
Like a
And
public outreach, like this is our,
Yeah,
these
I've
are my
talked to them.
suggestions. This
Yeah.
is why, it's not our responsibility to be, hands-on 24/7 in your private operation.
Yeah.
We're here to protect and to serve. However, like, these are my suggestions that you need to do.
And the last time I was here, we had the one shop owner from Schooners Wharf who said that we were never up there. I went back and talked to my guys, and
We know
they had
that's not
coordinated with Tino, who is their groundskeeper. That's all they need, is somebody like that. They talked to him 100 times over that holiday weekend. So they were up there, and then I called him and I told him about it. And he's like, well, I never saw them. And so then I asked him, I said, well, were you inside your store? And he said, yes. I said, well, how would you know? So that's been taken care of. But if I can kind of get them to have somebody more present, they put some barriers across some of their openings, which seems to help a little bit, because if you're up there after those barriers are up, then you're not supposed to be up there. It's pretty easy to see. But I know we've had the officers have had some discussions from Queen City Marina owner. He wanted an officer because people were going onto his property after the bars were closing. And I'm like, I can't post somebody in that giant property to stop people from going in there. So we're working on it. I'm going to try to address that in a different way. And
Years ago, the business owners used to just hire somebody.
we talked about that last time with 7-Eleven used to hire security. Schooners Wharf had security. Morrison's had security. Fantasy Island now has security. Chicken and the Egg does security on their own. I don't think that's something we have to force them to do. I think it's something we need to just convince them it's a smart move for them.
It would be advantageous for them to hire somebody.
So,
Well, as long as they understand too, that our police department is here for the town and not specifically to safeguard certain businesses. That's the
I
crux
mean,
of
it
it.
wouldn't be fair for us to have our officers posted inside Fantasy Island the whole night.
Right.
And, they've always gotten that, and they have security. So if I can get everybody else to understand,
On board.
maybe we can make headway that way. go from there.
They should all do that ride around with you, chief, then they would see what all goes on in this town. And it is literally all over town. And as you say, we're short on help again, and we don't have enough officers to cover everybody's individual needs. So,
You doing neighborhood watch on Tuesday?
I probably will be here. I don't think there's any reason why I
There's
won't, but
no-
we'll have somebody here for it.
Yeah, there was no one here Tuesday.
Yeah.
No one came.
Neighborhood, why? No officers or no citizens?
No people. no
Oh, okay,
people.
no citizens.
Yeah, I was outside waiting for the officers to come through, but no one came.
All right.
So,
I will, we'll post it again online to see if everybody can be made aware of it. It's in the past years, it's only been, usually between 4th of July and, Labor Day,
yeah.
you'll have a few people show up at the first couple when there's a problem. And then by the end of the summer, they don't show up anymore. So.
All right.
okay, thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Jim.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
That's all we have.
Okay. Saying we're done general discussion, we will now open the floor to public comment. Please hold it to 3 minutes and be sure to ID yourself. Anybody in the audience like to speak? No?
Yeah.
Anybody on Zoom care to speak?
Not really, no.
No? Okay, seeing none, we'll close the floor to public comment and go to our final remarks. And Mrs. Ballmiller, looks like you kick it off tonight.
Great. I was gonna announce the Neighborhood Watch meets Tuesday at 6 p.m. You can come in through the police entrance. You can come and voice your concerns with your local neighborhood officers. I just wanted to say thank you for the public works. The beaches look amazing. Even though we did have a round of beach replenishment this summer, it doesn't look like the beaches have unfortunately increased in size. It's still yet the beginning of summer, so we still will have some placement from the offshore sandbar, but it doesn't look like it is large as, we hopefully anticipated, so. But they still look amazing, and I was in the office on Monday, and it just amazes me. It's always good to hear thank you, so thank you, ladies. I mean, it's just a revolving door of people coming in with issues because of, the influx of people, which is, guys, everybody works well together, and so thank you for that as well.
Thank you.
And good luck to our police officers for the upcoming week. Just take a deep breath because it's coming.
It's
We
coming.
will have the sheriff's department and help from other towns too for the fireworks.
Good,
Great.
good, because next week is the 4th of July, which falls on a Friday, which means that people will be arriving earlier than Friday to enjoy the week. So I'm just asking everyone to please be safe, be considerate to your neighbors. Please be aware of the curfew for your children, that it's 9 o'clock off the beaches and 10 o'clock off the streets, and please help our officers with that. And other than that, enjoy your holiday.
Thank you. Mr. McCaffrey?
How do you follow that? She covered everything. Just everybody have a good 4th of July and be careful out there because it will get crazy.
Thank you. Ms. Anderson?
No, I was just going to wish everybody happy 4th too, and to say thank you to everybody at the borough and our town, public works, police, management. I've only been in 6 months, and I said it was going to be a learning curve, and it's definitely a learning curve. But I'm thankful we all get along and talk about stuff and work things out.
Thank you. Again, it was all very well covered, and happy 4th. And just for the parents out there, I know, everybody thinks that their child would never do anything. Please ask your children where they're going, who they're going to be with, and make sure they're in by curfew time so everybody can have a nice, safe, and happy 4th.
Can I just add one more thing?
Certainly.
I just wanted to remind everyone that we are having our annual bike auction. We have about 50 bikes to auction. We're going to do that on Tuesday, July 1st at 10 a.m. in the parking lot right here behind the municipal building. And Councilman McCaffrey is going to be emceeing and Ms. Anderson will be
Do you
assisting.
accept Zelle or Venmo or cash only? Or
Cash or
what's the
check.
deal?
Cash or check.
Cash is king.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Go ahead.
Gotcha.
No, that's
Second,
it. Thank
yeah.
you.
Thank
That's
you
all
all.
You need. You don't need to second it. Meeting adjourned.
Thanks.